Hello, this is Richard Ashworth again. I'm here to talk some more about the Year of the Dog. And it's not just a Year of the Dog, it's what's called a number 9 year, which means that the magic square or Loshu that is reckoned to contain the power of the year has a 9 in the middle. Here's the actual, it's a slightly complicated version, but you can see the 9 is in the middle there. And that's a cycle of 9. So the 9 appears every 9 years. Now, it's important to get an idea of this. These are not just Chinese mumbo jumbo. Each of these numbers, which occupy different locations in different years and at different times, have a vast number of significances, thousands and thousands of significances. They are what you would call a number pattern. But the 9 is very important. The 9 is fire. That means that it relates to enlightenment, discovery, celebrity, promotion, invention, the coming to the light, bringing things to the light, those kinds of things. And it's particularly important because this 9 year actually is at the very beginning of the 9th Chinese fate. Now the 9th Chinese fate means that one of the methods for dividing up time, which is traditionally used by Chinese metaphysicians, is to divide time up into chunks of 20 years and then bundle those up into bigger chunks of 180 years. So in some senses we are in an eon or an era that started in 1864, that's 180 years ago, sometimes called the American era. And you might say that it chronicles the rise and fall of the American hegemony. You know, most people would probably infer that over the next 20 or 30 years the American hegemony will end at the end of that 180-year period in 2043. Anyway, these individual fates are given numbers, and we are now in the 9th out of 9. Now, in the 9th fate, what that means is that the most powerful kind of energy is a revelatory, bringing to the surface, discovery, enlightened kind of energy. And over the last 20 years, the 8th fate was characterized perhaps by tension between the meanings of the 8, which are youthful, thrusting, priapic kind of energy, and also a spiritual seeking, a spiritual striving. There are probably more people now who are spiritually engaged than perhaps at any other time in the world, certainly in terms of numbers, perhaps in terms of proportion, but there are probably also more people who are engaged in self-serving pursuit of short-term objectives than ever before. In the 8th, so that would summarize the 8th fate. The 9th fate is different, it's a change. And one of the reasons it's important, bear with me here, is because what the 9th fate does is to make the significance of 1 and 2 become timely and meaningful. Now, I'm sorry if this is hopelessly esoteric, but the 2, as you can probably intuitively feel into, means mother, woman, compassion, relationship, profound connection, those kinds of things. And that number, the number 2, has literally been defined as being morbid, that is ill, that is extreme yin, just follow the language, by every feng shui master for the last 100 years. Now the 9th fate changes all that. It means that the 2 becomes timely. So where the meanings of the 2, which is about accretion and increase, have been mostly defined as being about tumours and cancers and overweight, it starts to start having a meaning of increase, of gain, including gain of knowledge, gain of intellectual and philosophical weight. It's a really important change, and in particular, this word, this number, stands for woman, the power of woman. Now, 100 years is actually a very short proportion of the time that female energy has been underrepresented. For biological reasons, men seized power thousands of years ago, probably as long ago as when we came down from the trees. It's probably to do with the relationship between the size of the head and the size of the pelvis, if truth were told. But it doesn't look to many of us as if men have done that great. It doesn't look to many of us as if male rule is balanced or the best idea in the world. That is not to say that it is to be replaced by female power, which would be equally unbalanced. But you women out there who have the owner's manual are aware that the power of woman being expressed would not be at the expense of man. You know, men are generally frightened of it because they think it would be, as I've said before, just the same thing, only in skirts. Whereas I rather think it's a bit different. But this is really, really important, that in the ninth fate there is a reversal of this sort. And the Dalai Lama said that Western woman will save the world. Well, I think this is maybe kind of the mechanism, and the #MeToo movement and the things associated with it have started to accelerate this process. And in fact, my student, Stephanie Stewart, did a wonderful Bazi analysis of Harvey Weinstein using the methods that I teach, which I will attempt to put out a link to it. But these things, this is the taper that leads to a bonfire of a whole load of stupidity and self-righteousness. Anyway, it's important to get that. We're now in a ninth fate and we're in a 9 year. This is a year when gains can be made as we move forward. And as I said in my earlier video, one of the meanings of this year, one of the themes is the question of how dark does it have to get to be before we pay attention? And I believe this is the dark before the light. I believe we're being shown an example of just how stupid we can be, and that there is a huge movement following. But it's important to take on, as I say, the 9 is the ruling number of the year, and it's about enlightenment and awakening, and it's also the ruling number of the next 27 years. And I'll leave you with that thought. We may send out more videos about the dog yet. We're certainly going to send out videos about each animal. So thank you for paying attention to this if you have. This is Richard Ashworth talking about the Year of the Earth Dog. Thank you. Bye-bye.